At the luxury car dealership, Linda Reeves signed the final paperwork with a triumphant flourish.
Robert's life insurance money is finally all mine. This SUV is just the start.
She drove off the lot minutes later, her laughter echoing through the open windows. Across town, Patricia Reeves answered her phone to a call from her father's insurance company.
Wait. You are saying the policy's beneficiaries are my children, Emily and Jack, not my stepmother?
The representative confirmed. Emily and Jack Reeves were the irrevocable beneficiaries, and the payout was held in a trust.
An irrevocable trust? But Linda told me the money was gone. What is she spending?
Patricia ended the call, her hand lowering slowly as the weight of the information settled in.
I deserve every bit of this. Robert would want me to live it up.
Miles apart, one woman celebrated a fortune that was never hers, while the other now knew the truth. Weeks earlier, Robert Reeves lay in a hospital bed, his condition worsening each day.
Patricia, promise me you'll look after Emily and Jack. Make sure their future is secure.
A week later, he was gone. At the funeral, Patricia watched Linda closely.
Just get through this performance. Then everything I've waited for will finally be mine.
Linda's sorrow seemed rehearsed, a performance for the gathered relatives. Later, Patricia returned to her father's house to collect his things. In the hallway, Linda's voice cut through the silence.
I've got the insurance paperwork in motion. Once it clears, we're set for life. Just keep quiet.
What insurance? Dad never mentioned a policy. What is she planning with that money?
She leaned closer, but Linda's voice dropped to a whisper. The call ended abruptly.
I have to find out what my father left behind. Something isn't right.
Within a month, Linda transformed grief into a spending spree that knew no limits.
Every cent of Robert's policy will be spent on the life I deserve.
She bought diamond bracelets, designer dresses, and a brand new convertible. A luxury cruise was booked on a whim, the charge hitting the joint account without a second thought. Patricia watched from a distance, her children's college dreams fading each time Linda posted a new purchase.
There's nothing left for your kids, Patricia. The insurance money is all spent.
You spent it all in a month. That money was supposed to secure their future.
That night, Patricia retrieved a dusty box of her father's old files from the attic. She found a policy statement with a number she didn't recognize and resolved to call the insurer. As Linda posed for another selfie, Patricia picked up the phone. Patricia dialed the number on the half-folded policy statement, her heart pounding against her ribs. The call connected her to a claims specialist at Guardian Life Insurance.
I am calling about my father, Robert Reeves' policy. The beneficiaries, are they my children? Emily and Jack?
The agent confirmed Emily and Jack Reeves were the irrevocable beneficiaries by direct designation years ago.
An irrevocable trust. You mean the payout didn't go to my stepmother at all?
She heard the words direct designation and cannot be altered by any party, as the room seemed to tilt.
Linda's been spending her own money. The joint account, she's burning through Dad's leftover savings, not the insurance.
She ended the call and stood motionless, the weight of the secret pressing down. Her next call was to Sarah Chen, the family attorney. Someone had to help her understand what to do next. Linda still believed she was living off an insurance fortune, but Patricia now held the truth that would eventually shatter everything. 2 days later, Patricia sat across from Sarah Chen in a downtown law office, lined with leather-bound books.
Your father's trust is ironclad. The beneficiaries, Emily and Jack, cannot be changed.
Sarah slid a thick document across the desk, the heading, Irrevocable Trust, prominent.
The insurance payout funded this. It's held separately for your children's education.
Then she retrieved a sealed envelope, Patricia's name written in her father's handwriting.
He wanted you to understand. Open it when you are ready.
The letter read, I overheard Linda planning to drain the policy after my death. I made the children irrevocable beneficiaries the next day.
He knew. Dad knew all along, and he made sure Linda would never touch a cent.
You have no legal duty to inform Linda. Let her keep living her illusion for now.
Patricia nodded, a new resolve settling over her. She would stay silent and watch. At home, Patricia reread her father's letter, tracing the ink he had pressed into the page. The letter continued, "I am sorry I couldn't stop her, but I could protect my grandchildren. Use this trust well."
He protected them from his own wife. Now it's my turn to follow his plan.
She made a decision. Linda would receive no warning. The consequences of greed would teach the lesson. Later, she placed a photo of Robert on her desk, a silent promise. Then she began gathering the trust paperwork.
Emily's first college payment, Jack's future, all locked away from Linda forever.
She called Sarah to initiate the transfer of trust funds into education accounts. The process was simple. Sarah filed the designations, and the trust's first quarterly statement arrived, showing steady growth. Meanwhile, Linda remained in blissful ignorance, her spending accelerating as her balance dwindled. Patricia simply watched, knowing the fallout would be devastating when reality finally caught up with her stepmother. Linda leased a second luxury car, a pearl-white SUV, the contract signed with the same flourish.
Why stop at one? Robert's money is endless. I deserve every luxury.
She then booked a 2-week Mediterranean cruise, paying the full premium from the joint account.
I'll post every moment. Let Patricia see what real living looks like.
Her caption read, "Celebrating my new life. Cheers to those who doubted me." Patricia saw the post while watering her garden. She paused, hose in hand, and sighed.
She's burning through Dad's lifetime savings in weeks, and she has no idea. Part of me wants to warn her. But Dad's letter, he said not to. He knew.
She steadied herself, turned off the water, and went inside to check on her children. Linda's illusion of wealth soared, but the clock was ticking on a joint account nearing its final zero. At home, Emily and Jack had questions about their grandmother's sudden wealth.
Mom, why does Grandma Linda have 2 brand new cars? Can we get one too?
Grandma makes her own financial choices, sweetheart. Our family's journey is different.
But she said Grandpa left her money. Didn't he leave us anything?
Your grandpa loved you more than anything, and he made sure your future is safe. That's all you need to know for now.
Across town, Linda received an overdraft notice from her bank.
Just a minor mix-up. I'll transfer from my savings later.
She crumpled the notice and tossed it onto a pile of unopened mail. The bank called a week later, warning of insufficient funds for her car lease. Linda laughed it off, convinced the insurance windfall would cover any mistake. That evening, Patricia logged into the joint bank account her father once shared with Linda.
It's worse than I imagined. Barely $1,800 left.
The recent transactions listed the car leases, cruise payment, and endless boutique charges.
She didn't spend the insurance. She destroyed her own savings thinking it was the windfall. Sarah, I checked the joint account. It's nearly empty. Is the children's trust still completely safe?
The trust is untouchable. Your father's planning held. Linda cannot breach it.
So whatever she spent came from her own pocket, not from my children's future.
Exactly. She's been liquidating her own assets. The trust remains fully funded for Emily and Jack.
Patricia ended the call, a storm of emotions settling into cold, hard clarity. When that account hits zero, Linda's fantasy will shatter, and Patricia would be ready. Linda returned from her cruise to a stack of final notices. Her car lease payment was overdue.
This must be a mistake. I'll call the dealership right now. What do you mean the payment bounced? There should be plenty in that account.
The dealership confirmed the joint account was drained. Her check had been returned.
Patricia, there's something wrong with the bank account. Do you know anything about this?
I have no idea, Linda. Dad handled all those finances. Maybe it's an error.
An error? Patricia, the account is empty. Where is Robert's insurance money?
I am sorry, Linda. I don't know anything about his policy. Maybe you should call the insurance company.
Something isn't right here. Patricia's hiding something. I need to find out what.
Patricia set the phone down, her hands steady but her heart racing. Linda was now on the hunt. 2 days later, Linda arrived at Patricia's house, while the children were home with the babysitter. She let herself in as the babysitter left, her voice dripping with false sweetness.
Emily, Jack, your mother is hiding Grandpa's money from you. I am the only one who wants to help.
Mom said Grandpa already helped us. Why would she hide anything?
Patricia came in through the back door, grocery bags in hand, and froze when she saw Linda.
What are you doing here? Get out of my house now.
They deserve the truth. You are keeping them from their inheritance.
We'll talk later. Right now. You leave my children out of this.
Linda stormed out, and Patricia shut the door, leaning her forehead against the wood to steady herself. She then turned, pulled the children close, and explained in simple words that Grandpa had made a special plan for their future. The next morning, Linda called, her voice shaking with rage.
You've turned my grandchildren against me. I'll sue for visitation rights. You can't hide their money forever.
Patricia listened in silence, then ended the call without a word. Within the hour, Patricia was in Sarah Chen's office, recounting the threat.
Linda has no case. Grandparents' rights don't apply here. Not with her financial misconduct and your father's clear intentions.
She's desperate, Sarah. I almost pity her. But I won't let her near Emily and Jack again.
That's the right instinct. The trust remains untouchable. You've done nothing wrong.
Patricia nodded, relief settling in, but a quiet sadness lingered for the woman her father once loved. She left the office, the weight of the confrontation lighter. Knowing the law was firmly on her side, Linda's threats were empty, but the real storm was just gathering on her own horizon. Linda tried purchasing a cashmere coat at her favorite boutique. The first credit card was declined immediately.
That's impossible. I have plenty of credit. Let me try another card.
The second card failed too. The cashier's expression shifted from courtesy to pity. Hours later, she was at a pawn shop, sliding a diamond bracelet across the counter with trembling fingers.
Patricia must have done this. She's frozen my accounts out of spite.
At the grocery store, her check was refused. A line formed behind her, eyes staring.
This is sabotage. She's turned everyone against me, even the bank.
That evening, she scrolled through her social media. The comments had turned from envy to ridicule. The lease company called, "Return the pearl white SUV within 48 hours or face legal action." Linda stood in her living room amid the remnants of her spending spree, the grand illusion finally crumbling. That afternoon, a tear-streaked Linda stood at Patricia's door, an eviction notice trembling in her hand.
I am going to be homeless. Please, Patricia. I just need something to survive.
Patricia's gaze was steady, her red lipstick, a slash of composure against the chaos.
There is no insurance money for you. It was always for Emily and Jack, in an irrevocable trust.
She held out the policy document, the beneficiary page front and center, her father's signature unmistakable.
No, Robert wouldn't betray me like this. That's a fake.
Linda's hands shook as she tore the paper down the middle, then tore it again.
I don't believe you. You've poisoned everyone against me.
Believe what you will. The trust is irrevocable. I won't give you a penny.
Linda stumbled backward, still clutching the torn fragments, her denial a shield already cracking. Back in her living room, Linda dialed Guardian Life Insurance with shaking, desperate fingers.
I need to know the beneficiaries on my husband Robert Reeves' policy. Tell me the truth.
The representative confirmed Emily and Jack Reeves were the irrevocable beneficiaries, designated years ago.
Irrevocable. You mean I was never entitled to a single cent?
She ended the call and rushed to her laptop, logging into the joint bank account with dread. The screen loaded, and the single number that appeared was 0. Below it, a list of her own transactions, the cars, the cruise, the boutiques, every dollar her own.
It was never the insurance. I destroyed my own life. Robert planned this from the grave.
She pushed the laptop away and buried her face in her hands, a low moan filling the silence. The grand illusion was dead. Linda now faced the abyss, completely and utterly alone. The next morning, a tow truck arrived. Linda's pearl-white SUV was hoisted onto the rig as she watched from the curb.
That was the last symbol of my old life. Now there's nothing left.
By noon, the eviction notice was taped to her front door. She had 3 days to vacate the house Robert had bought. She spent the next day packing a single suitcase, her hands moving over the remnants of a life she had torched. She ended up in a cheap motel on the edge of town, the kind that charged by the week. Patricia heard the news through a neighbor. She stood in her living room, the afternoon light catching the edges of her composure.
I could pay for a month's rent. But this is a consequence she earned.
That evening, Linda sat on the motel bed, staring at the cracked ceiling, the reality of her choices pressing down. Meanwhile, in a kitchen full of laughter, Patricia helped Emily and Jack bake weekend cookies, the flour dust like new snow. The distance between their two worlds had never been greater, sealed by one man's foresight and one woman's greed. The following week, Patricia met with Sarah Chen to finalize the trust's investment allocations.
The growth projections look strong. Emily and Jack will have more than enough for any university.
Good. That's all my father ever wanted.
She signed the final documents, her pen steady. The trust was now fully active for both children's futures. Later, Patricia held the trust's quarterly statement, the balance highlighted, a fortress built by her father's love. She placed the statement beside his photograph on her desk. A single tear traced her cheek, not of grief, but of gratitude. Across town, Linda started her first shift at a discount superstore, folding cheap sweaters under harsh fluorescent lights.
This is what I've been reduced to. All those months of luxury, and now this.
She saw a mother with 2 children laughing in the aisle and turned away, a bitter taste in her mouth. The two families' paths had diverged irreversibly, one climbing toward a secure future, the other scraping for survival. 6 months later, Patricia knelt at her father's grave, the grass soft and new.
I am going to study environmental science, Grandpa. Just like we used to talk about in your garden.
And I am going to build things like bridges. Mom said, your trust is making it all possible.
You saw what we couldn't, Dad. Because of you, they'll never have to choose between dreams and debt.
The children wrapped their arms around her, a circle of quiet strength against the marble stone. That evening, they toasted with sparkling juice at the dining room table, Robert's photo smiling from the sideboard.
Mom, this brochure says I can minor in marine biology too. Grandpa would have loved that.
Look, the engineering building is huge. Can we visit the campus this summer?
Patricia watched them, her heart full. The money had never been the point. The freedom it bought was freedom it bought was. Her father's final gift had become their unbreakable future. Blooming in the light of a promise kept, Linda now lived in a cramped studio apartment, the walls thin and the heat unreliable. On a Saturday afternoon, she sat on a park bench, her lunch a cold sandwich. Then she saw them, Patricia and the children, laughing as they walked toward the community center.
They're happy without me. They've moved on, and I am nothing but a bitter memory.
She looked away, resentment burning in her chest, but beneath it, a deeper ache of regret. That night, in her tiny apartment, she found an old photograph of her and Robert.
I miss you, Robert, and I ruined everything you built.
She sat at the fold-out table and began to write, the pen scratching in the silence. The letter read, Patricia, I don't expect forgiveness, but I am sorry. I was blinded by greed, and I hurt your children. She addressed the envelope, her hand trembling, knowing it might never be opened. 2 days later, the letter arrived at Patricia's home, her name written in a shaky hand. She recognized the handwriting immediately, a knot forming in her stomach. She read Linda's words once, then again. The remorse was palpable, but the pain behind it ran deep.
She finally sees the damage she caused. But an apology doesn't erase what she put us through.
Through the window, she could hear Emily and Jack playing, their laughter a reminder of what was truly at stake.
I won't let them be hurt again. The best thing I can do is keep that chapter closed.
She folded the letter carefully and tucked it into a drawer. next to her father's old letters. She didn't burn it or tear it. She simply closed the drawer, leaving the past where it belonged. In the silence, she whispered a thank you to the man who had given her the strength to say no. The door to that chapter was shut, and with it, any power Linda still held over their lives. A week later, college acceptance letters arrived at the Reeves household.
Mom, I got into the environmental science program, and the trust covers everything.
And I got the engineering summer camp scholarship. Grandpa's plan really worked.
Patricia watched them, their futures no longer a question mark, but a bold, beautiful plan.
Every sacrifice, every silent choice led to this. Thank you, Dad.
Across the city, Linda sat in her tiny apartment, the silence heavy and cold. Her only company was the cracked photograph of a man she had once loved and betrayed. Two lives, once connected, now separated by a trust built on truth and a life built on lies. Robert Reeves' foresight had not only secured their finances, but had woven a safety net of love that no greed could unravel. As the sun set on their two worlds, one truth remained: a father's promise is forever. In the quiet of her home office, Patricia sat down and opened the trust document one last time.
Everything Dad promised is here, guaranteed. They'll be secure forever.
The trust statement still showcased its growing balance, a fortress of his love. She then picked up her father's photograph, holding it next to the document. In the soft light, she spoke as if he could hear.
You kept your promise, Dad. And now, so will I.
The document and the photograph, side by side, became a silent testament to a love that outlasted death. She placed both on the desk, her hand lingering a moment before pulling back. Outside, the last light of day painted the world gold, and Patricia Reeves smiled. Because some promises aren't bound by time, and a father's love will always find a way to protect